Welcome, my friends. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Sure, here are 3 real-life scary stories that might give you chills, complete with a descriptive narrative style to set the mood. Imagine these being narrated in a low, eerie voice with suspenseful background music. Story 1. The Ghost of the Overlook Hotel. The Overlook Hotel stood as a grand old building, isolated in the mountains, with a dark history. Sarah, a writer seeking inspiration, decided to spend a weekend there. She was the only guest. On the first night, Sarah was woken by the sound of distant piano music. She followed the haunting melody to the hotel's grand ballroom. The room was empty, but the piano played on its own, keys moving by invisible hands. She felt a chill as she remembered the hotel's tragic past, a pianist who had gone mad and taken his own life right at that piano. Over the next few days, strange occurrences escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own, ghostly whispers filled the halls, and at night, she heard the eerie piano tune. One evening, she saw a figure in old-fashioned attire standing by the piano. The figure turned towards her, revealing hollow eyes and a sad expression. It vanished in an instant. Sarah's curiosity turned to fear. On her final night, she heard footsteps approaching her room. The doorknob rattled, and she felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Gathering her courage, she flung open the door, only to find an empty hallway. She packed her things and left immediately, vowing never to return. Years later, she learned that many guests had reported similar experiences. The ghost of the pianist, it seemed, was still bound to the Overlook Hotel, playing his sorrowful tune for eternity. Story 2. The Whispering Woods. In a small rural town, there was a dense forest known to locals as the Whispering Woods. Many avoided it due to the chilling tales of those who had entered and never returned. James, a skeptic of the supernatural, decided to explore the woods one evening to debunk the myths. As he ventured deeper, the air grew colder, and the trees seemed to close in on him. The sun began to set, casting eerie shadows all around. Suddenly, James heard whispers, faint and indistinct. He tried to ignore them, attributing the sounds to the wind. But the whispers grew louder, more urgent, as if they were calling his name. Panic set in as he realized he couldn't find his way back. The whispers seemed to surround him, pressing closer, filling his mind with an overwhelming sense of dread. In the distance, he saw a figure standing among the trees. Thinking it was a person, he called out, but the figure didn't respond. It just stood there, motionless. As James approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind an icy chill. The whispers intensified, now sounding like tormented cries. Desperate, James ran, blindly pushing through the dense foliage until he stumbled out of the woods and collapsed in a field. He never spoke of what he experienced that night, but the fear in his eyes told the story. The Whispering Woods remained a place of dread, its secrets guarded by the unseen spirits that haunted its depths. Story 3. The Haunting of Room 104. In a quaint bed and breakfast, Room 104 was notorious among the staff. Guests who stayed there often left in a hurry, pale and shaken, refusing to talk about their experiences. Emma, a travel blogger, was intrigued by the stories and booked a stay in Room 104. The room was charming, with vintage decor and a view of the garden. But from the moment she entered, she felt uneasy. That night, she was woken by the sound of soft crying. The sound seemed to come from the corner of the room. As she turned on the light, the crying stopped. She searched the room, but found nothing. She dismissed it as her imagination and went back to sleep. The next night, the crying returned, louder and more desperate. This time, Emma saw a faint outline of a woman standing by the window, her face hidden in her hands. Emma froze, unable to move or speak. The figure slowly faded, leaving a lingering sense of sorrow. Determined to uncover the truth, Emma spoke to the owner the next morning. The owner hesitated before revealing that many years ago, a woman named Lily had stayed in Room 104. Heartbroken after losing her fiancé, she took her own life in that very room. Emma felt a chill as she realized the spirit of Lily was still there, mourning her lost love. That night, Emma left a single white rose on the windowsill. The crying never returned, and Emma slept peacefully for the rest of her stay. She believed she had given Lily some peace, allowing her to finally rest. I hope these stories brought some chills down your spine. If you want more, just let me know.